welcome to another episode of That's the Way the Cookie Crumbles. I've got a new friend here, Michael Williams. Michael, shake your hand. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, in the kitchen, baby. So Michael and I met at he was actually preparing the food for a little cocktail party, and the food was fabulous. So we started talking, and we actually knew a lot of people from the past, which may be good or may be bad, that we both had run into in the years prior. So I thought, what a great person to have on the show and show us some things he's really experienced. Your company is Groovy Grits, so tell us a little bit about that before we start what you do.
You know, I retired from the food service business, food equipment, food distribution, and I'm doing mostly charitable work. I work with small groups to large groups to help them operate safely for food mostly. I've got a mission in Marks I'm working with called Reclaim. I run the Gleaners in Jackson, which is a reclaimed food project. And then I work with Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts, right.
Boy Scouts is pretty much, that's what my major mission is. You know.
What do you do there exactly?
I run food service, the food service.
At the camp?
Yeah, at Hood Scout Reservation and for the council, but mainly for the camp there. And we cook up to 600 people. That's a real big. My typical group is about 400.
Yeah.
And we have them three meals a day for 5 days.
That's work.
Yeah, and we do that all summer. Well, most of the weeks during the first half of the summer, and then we have a winter camp. We do
really
a winter camp, and we just got a new smoker down here, and I'm smoking for 400 this weekend. I'm taking it to Jackson to a church event. You know.
So what's on the menu for that event?
Okay, so and I'm gonna keep working while
yeah, keep working while let's chat. You work, yeah. We can do two things at once.
Oh gosh, yeah. I think better when I'm working.
Tell us, what are you cooking today?
I'm doing a family favorite. This is garlic chicken pasta.
Garlic chicken pasta.
I use a roasted chicken. Pick it up at a big box store, you know. I debone it, throw the meat in a stand mixer, turn it on for 30 seconds with a paddle, and it provides this product. Shredded chicken. Yeah, it's great, and it's real fast. Then I take all the bones and I put it in stock. This is like this kind of cooking stock, you know. And I'll cook that for about 2 hours, along with all the pieces, parts, and everything I've cut up. And then it makes a stock like this, call it chicken jelly. But that's called a rich stock. And what a rich stock is, you've cooked the bones and the cartilage, and so you get a lot of that flexible gelatin out of the bones, and that's why it comes out as a gelatin. But when it cooks, it's going to be real shiny. Like if you're doing something that's mostly stock, it'll get a real shiny. With this, it's just giving a great flavor.
So that you don't use as much of that as you would like a chicken broth, because it's more concentrated.
Yeah, and I still will use a little chicken broth depending.
Right.
But this is I do that mostly. This pasta cooking. Oh my God, it's great pasta.
Yeah, that's good pasta. If you can't do it fresh, this is what you get. And you can get that right here at the kitchen table.
Now, what I did last night is I roasted garlic, and basically I cut the bottom off the pods, and I left the skin on them, and then put a base of olive oil in a tight-fitting pan, a small pan. What's the smallest stove that y'all sell? Is it the 4 or you smell it?
Probably the 4 quart.
4?
They make some little, almost ramekin size.
Right. Well, that really...
when you say you roast it, tell people how you roast it.
350 degrees. You put the top in a very heavy pan, heavy bottom pan. You can do it in cast iron. The trick is to have a good lid on it. Some people just wrap it. They put olive oil on the garlic. Do the same thing I said, cut the bottom.
Yeah.
But they'll just put olive oil on it and wrap it up in aluminum foil. Kind of like the garlic.
Yeah.
Then and
Like a little sack of garlic, and you put
and
it
they'll
in the
roast
oven.
it that way. Yeah, they just put it in the oven
Yeah.
and just shut up and leave it alone.
How long in there for that? Something
Well,
like 30,
it just-
an hour.
An hour. I do it. You know, you can do it as long as you want.
Yeah.
I do it a little al dente, a little just this side fully cooked.
Mm-hmm. You
Because
say
I
you
like
cut the top
Stress
or
too.
the bottom. You cut the top
I-
and it gets squeezed out. That would,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when it finished roasting, I just take a pair of tongs and I squeeze it garlic pots and out.
okay.
It is so easy to do. And don't forget to throw a little salt on it because that helps
Yeah.
develop the flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, right now you can see I put my peppers in there and I'm just sauteing these down a little bit. Doesn't that look good?
That's beautiful.
You can smell that garlic,
Oh yeah.
can't you?
You can smell it all.
That's
don't
what
you?
I'm talking about. All right.
That's nice, man.
Yeah.
That's
Now, I
beautiful.
wish we had smell-o-vision and I'd put a little
We're
smell-o-vision.
working on that.
Yeah.
Once we get that, we're going to be rich.
Yeah. Reach anyway.
Rich.
Yeah. Okay, so right now,
So
I
then
put
you
in,
put in about a tablespoon and a half of the
yeah, the stock,
stock,
chicken dilly, as I say,
homemade.
homemade chicken dilly. And that was from the bones of the chicken. Okay, so what I've done, and if you can see how that nice seasoning from the peppers came out, and that's caspasic acid, very low in heat. If you had other types of peppers, this is a sweet pepper. If you had a hot pepper, it would have a high level of caspacin in it, and mostly in the ribs of the pepper, like a jalapeno, Scotch bonnets, and all that. It's yes in the seeds, but it's heaviest in that rib, the white membrane. So I get all that out. On a sweet pepper, all it does is cook better. All right, I've cooked this up. The kids are running around your feet. You don't know what's going on, but they smell it and they're ready to eat. Now, I use garlic pepper, and I looked for it in the store today, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But this is an alternative. If you can use like a low salt seasoning, this actually has garlic oil in it, so it makes it really nice. All right, so I got that going on. Now with this, if I was doing a red sauce, then I would use balsamic vinegar. And I could use white balsamic vinegar from the acid, because I want to add some acid to this. But today I'm using a lemon. Now, I had an unfortunate accident this weekend fixing my mother-in-law's doorbell, so I got a big cut on my thumb. So anytime that you have a cut on your finger, you have to bandage it and then cover it with a glove. Now, I don't have both gloves on today, and I typically do, but I'm not using my left hand as much for food. So I got all of that out of here. And you see I'm not using the zest, the peel, because it has a certain bitterness that you want sometimes, but in this dish I don't need. All right, see how nice that's cooking up? Now, I'm gonna add mushrooms and shallots that I cooked earlier.
Oh yeah.
It's adding a little color in there. And then I pull all of this to the side. And I put the rest of my shallots in there. Oops. Put the rest of my shallots in there. And I cut the shallots at a fine dice. You have food processors that'll do all these dices and cuts for you. In the commercial side, a company named Robocoo makes that. But today I did it by hand, just different dice cuts. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting these shallots in there and I'm kind of braising them a little bit with this liquid, just so they'll plump up and they have a really sweet, nice onion flavor. Remember the onion thing.
The RoboCook cost you about $34.
35. That's actually a Mississippi company.
Yeah.
That and then they're in France.
Yeah.
That's where their home office is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've done
It's a
real
good
well.
machine. Yeah.
It is. And
Good.
they have a product that slices and dices. Actually, like I'll use one of those this weekend on that large event
Yeah.
that I've got, because I've got
Cuts your time.
Oh yeah, I've got 30
Sure.
30 pounds of peppers in there.
There's your pasta.
Yeah, here's the pasta.
That's nice.
Now I'm not draining it out. I'm leaving a little water in it
Do you want that in there for? You want it to
You
for
do.
the mix.
for the mix up. It seals it nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll come back and use some of this pasta water, which will thicken up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also show you the broccoli that I did. I kept it in a full head of broccoli, and I dipped it down in the boiling water, and then I let it blanch. I pulled it out, and I set it in an ice water bath. And then you just clip off what you want. Cover this up, leave it in the refrigerator, and it'll be good for a couple of days, and you won't lose anything on that. And the stems for those can actually be shredded and used in salads. So you're not losing much of the broccoli.
So if your broccoli's getting ready to go bad, you can always do that.
Yeah,
Extend the life on it.
that or cut the bad parts off, put it in your food processor, whip it, and then freeze it.
Yeah.
And then later, when you have turkey and all that kind of stuff, all the stock left over from turkey, you can make a soup or a stew. And
Yeah.
put that, all of those vegetables, anything that's about to go bad, don't let it go bad.
First time I used a China cap was making broccoli cheese soup.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh. How many
Yeah.
times? I actually have a large China cap that I used on this last night.
Yeah.
On that stock.
It's perfect for that.
Yeah. So now I've added this broccoli. Now the color's
Yeah, that's
changing
all.
a lot, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right. Now I'm going to add.
You got the trinity of colors in there.
Yeah, I do. And all that good garlic flavor.
Mm-hmm. And this
And all
is
this-
this cream, heavy cream?
Heavy
Heavy
cream.
cream.
Now you can use. So that
I got it.
you can use half and half, and I do use half and half quite a bit
Mm-hmm.
for me because it's a lot. You have a lot less fat. But since we don't have taste division today, we can cook it the way we want it,
There you go.
and it'll do great. All right. So we're going to let this work up a little bit. Now you guys don't have to use containers like I do, right? But as you'll notice, I have a container and I have written on it what it is. At home, if you have an amount of Parmesan cheese left, or if you have vegetables that are cut that you want to save for the next day, you can use a container. I got these from the Container Store actually, but you can get containers like something like this from the grocery store, from the big box store, all right? And I write on here on blue tape what's in there, and look, this is important, the date. So this was 8/22 yesterday. It's really important, especially if you're working with some elderly folks that live alone and they have foods. Get them to start dating it so they'll know that they have 7 days to eat it and then they need to get rid of it. Can you tell I teach food safety?
I'm going to tell my mother about that.
Oh, yeah.
They keep that.
My mother too. My mother calls me I don't want to tell you what she calls me.
Tell us.
She's a wonderful woman. She calls me a pest. I hate to say that.
That's not bad.
Well,
My mother
you know,
calls me a lot worse than that.
yeah, well, she should. I'm sure.
That's right. I deserve it.
Yeah. So, what we're doing now is we're waiting for this to simmer down, and this will start to go down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not going to use that stock today. I'm just going to add a little more money.
Might as well use that.
Oh yeah, it's just oh my gosh, so flavorful.
You're making that out of the waste, what you really most people throw away.
The remains,
Yeah, so you
the
want
remains. Don't
Think
throw
about
away
that,
the
yeah.
chicken bones. Oh no! And even if you're not ready to make stock, just put them in a plastic bag. Put the date on it, what it is, and the date on it. Stick it in the freezer. And then when you get 4 or 5 carcasses, you can make a big pot of stock with all those other vegetables. You know, throw everything in there, and you're just making a seasoned soup-like liquid. And then you strain everything off, toss it away, and reduce this, and then change pots, or containers, let it sit on the counter till it feels warm to the touch, not really hot, and just cover it, put it in the refrigerator. And the next morning, take it out, and you'll see all the fat that's skimmed over the top. You just take that fat right off, and that's what I have here. It's called defatted chicken stock.
So you skim the fat off of it.
I do.
So it's
I take it off with a spatula. Just take it off and pitch it because I don't need the chicken fat.
yeah,
Okay, so we're at the
good.
we're at the end of it in a way. We're going to add chicken now. This chicken was deboned, and then it was make sure that it's safe temperature before you put it in the refrigerator. If your refrigerator, if the product you have is hot, then you never put it in the refrigerator because heat is antisocial. It wants to go everywhere where heat is not. So everything around it is going to get that heat. And the product you put in there, sure enough, will cool off, but the butter will have that yellow, translucent cover over it if it's next to butter. If it's next to, say you have it next to fruit, it'll make the fruit spoil. So it's not good. It's like putting basil and tomatoes together in storage. The gas from the tomatoes kills the basil. Whole restaurant. All right, so that's how it goes. Now, what I do at home is I'll add the pasta to it.
Yeah.
But then we have other times that you just, you wouldn't necessarily have the pasta. Now, one other trick that you need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
This pasta water has a lot of starch in it, okay? And just about this much, you'll see if you have an Italian cook, they're using their pasta water. Now, I'm not using so much because I have a thickener, a natural thickener with the cream. All right. Once again, you can do this with half and half, and it just works out right. Okay. Now, at the end, I'm going to add my fresh peppers. This was 2 bell peppers that I cut up, and I didn't waste anything. I used the stem, the seeds, and the veins in the stock. If I was using jalapenos, I would do all of that, and it adds a nice zip.
To get a little hot.
Now, if you want to add hot sauce, now's the time. If you want to not, that's okay too. That's a liquid that's high in caspasic acid. It's from a sport pepper or a cayenne pepper. They take those and they stem them and then crush them. And they make the pulp and mix the pulp. They either age it, they mix it with salt and vinegar, and that's where your hot sauce comes from. All right? So nothing mystical. You can make your own hot sauce, but you got to have a mask on because that'll kill you trying to make hot sauce.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to add, I love this.
Yeah, they're very good. What's this? This one of yours?
Model stainless cookware. Young cook. It's kind of a heavy duty, kind of like a firefly, like tall plant is.
Yeah.
Made of brand.
It is freaking creamy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's beautiful.
All right, and a little more.
Yeah. A little more lemon to it.
Now you noticed I did add a lot of seeds on that. Sorry about that. I did not put Parmesan in it prior to cooking. During the cooking process, because it makes it gum up and then separates the oil. So now, before I serve it, I come back with Parmesan. See, I got Parmesan of the day on it. I had it on the top too, so I would know. You take the cap off, you're going, I know what Parmesan looks like, but if you're working fast, you don't know. That's the reason I put that in. If you're cooking for a party, and some people want to, they want to be prepared and they want to do something like this for a party. This doesn't really hold very well. This is where I have a little stock. If you want to cook for a party, that's where I suggest doing containers or bowls. And I know y'all sell nested bowls here, glass nested bowls. That's one of the things that's so. Those things make it really nice, and you can put everything. You can do all your ingredients out there, and then put your party together while your folks are there, because food is just in the middle of everything nowadays, right? And there you go.
Look at that.
We need to get a bowl to try this out.
Yeah, we got to taste it.
Might need a little salt because I tend to be light on the salt.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Y'all try that out. We got to take care of the film crew. I always do.
What you said, look.
I had a funny story about Emerald. He used to do these shows back to back over the day, and they'd go to lunch, and then they'd come back from lunch, and everybody would be real sleepy. So he started saying "bam" to wake everybody up.
Bam.
That's
There
the
you go.
story anyway.
Yeah, that's-
He and I are in the same parade in Mardi Gras.
Really?
So,
So
once again, here's some salt if you need a little salt.
I don't think I need the salt.
You can try it out.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's got to be over 165 degrees.
That pasta is good too.
Isn't that good?
It's very
I
good.
bet it is.
All of it.
I'm going to have some in just a bit when we get through.
So where were you born? Like
Jackson.
Jackson. Then,
I
did you
taught
work
myself.
down here?
I went to school here.
You went to school?
And then, yeah, and I was, I worked in the food service business, and I did a lot of different jobs in food service. Ran a company in Tupelo, or worked with a guy that ran a company in Tupelo, and then moved to Jackson, did contracts. And the way I knew Ronnie, our mutual friend, Ronnie Harrington, the way I knew him was I was a craft brand specialist then.
Yeah.
And I would come down and work with him. And my former roommate used to work for guy that owned Chesterfield's back in the day.
Yeah.
So, and I went to school here. I
Yeah.
love Hasbro.
So young people, craft, like you see the craft dressings, they had a food service company.
Yeah.
And U.S. Food bought them out, is that right?
Well, they changed into Alliant Food Service,
Alliant.
and then they were merged
Yeah.
with U.S. Foods.
So that's where it all started.
Yeah.
So it's a smaller company, I guess.
Well,
Pretty big.
we were independent, and then we were bought, merged into Kraft, and then Kraft spun it into its own company, the
Yeah.
General Foods Bond, and then that company was purchased.
Yeah. Big business. But anyway,
Big
they
business,
had good
yeah.
products and good salesmen.
Yeah,
We knew, like you said, Ronnie Harrington, he was a really good salesman, and he was a pro baseball player too. So
yeah,
he's since gone on to better rounds.
yeah. Likes Ronnie a lot.
But anyway, so were you in the restaurant business at all, or did you?
No, thank
So-
you, and have a nice day.
There you go. So
I worked with a lot of them, and I've helped. Now, the thing that I focused on was helping people remain in business. You know, because so many people got into it and they just didn't have, they knew how to cook but didn't have any business in it.
yeah,
And so it
That's
worked
most
out well. Because I have an objective opinion about a restaurant, because I'm not in it every day. So I could give them some advice and help out on things, and I still do that. Like with nonprofits, and I do an occasional contract for a manufacturer or something, you know, do some research for them. I recently cooked at the National Restaurant Show for the company. And just,
and now tell us, what was the equipment company you worked for that you did? What you do with that? What was that?
well, the company's called Unified Brands.
Mhm.
And we built, that was the eventual name of the company. It went through different iterations. It had started as different companies within Dover, and they owned Randall, Rowan. You probably know Rowan.
Yeah.
The steamers and kettles. Randall from prep tables did a lot of national account business. Power Soap, and maybe we'll do a segment from my kitchen up in Hazelhurst one day, and I'll
Yeah.
show you that around that. That kitchen is at the Scout Camp. It's as nice as any community college kitchen or something.
Really?
And then we sold hoods and just all kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's great. Really enjoyed it.
So
It's a good career.
the Boy Scout camp, so that operates. How long is that in the summer? How long?
Well, depends on how many people we have sign up. It can be as much as 6 weeks, but it gets dreadfully hot
Yeah.
toward the middle of the summer. And so depending on the year and all, we usually run it 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we'd run it every week if we had enough people who wanted to be there. And there may be some changes. Who knows what kind of changes? And more people might come to the camp. We were rated as one of the top wilderness experience camps in the United States. We also have a rifle range, a pistol range, shotgun range, archery, from BBs all the way to rifles. You know, they can learn.
Yeah.
And it's approved nationally, so we've had police departments that have come and used it before and all that. So
And it's in Hazelhurst, is that?
it's 10
Close
miles
to it?
outside of Hazelhurst.
Yeah.
So it's a great camp, and they've had a lot of people that have really put a lot into it. It moved to that location in the 80s. It had been in Kickapoo, which is outside of Clinton and Edwards.
I'm a Kickapoo alumni.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, me too. And so they moved down to Warren Hood and gifted them this 1,000 acres.
Yeah.
And it doesn't belong to them; it belongs to the Hood family.
Yeah.
And they let us use it as long as we keep it up. And if we abandon it, they take it out.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we really need to check it out sometime.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we have a ropes course, a challenge course, climbing tower. That's part of it. We have a ski lake and fishing lake, and then the new outdoor arena. It's just breathtaking. You know, it's just fantastic.
Sounds a little nicer than Kickapoo.
Oh yeah,
Kitchen's
know,
a little,
it was
kitchen's a
just-
little more upgraded than
yeah. We just spent a lot of money in the kitchen,
Mhm.
but it was mostly a plumbing project. And we added some bathrooms, and I redid the floors and all the plumbing and draining.
How many people you have helping you there when you're open?
Well, it really depends on the event. This weekend, I'll probably have 2.
What about the camp when the camp's running? How many people?
They usually have 4 or 5 in the kitchen
Yeah.
proper, because they run from 6:30 in the morning until about 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So they'll have some youth staff that are on staff that are in there, and then we have some perpetual staff that works there.
Yeah.
You know, they're available. You know, whenever she's at the community college, Colin,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple of others are in other schools, so they all have Serve Safe certificates.
Yeah.
I've taken several of them. I teach Serve Safe, so I've taken several of them through that program.
Yeah. That's good.
Just keep all our certifications up to
Yeah.
snuff. You know?
We know where to call when we need a quick test.
Oh yeah, well, nothing's quick. It takes
No.
a day.
Yeah.
You know, it's not it can be better, but
Yeah.
you know, we've done a good job.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I know you're proud of it, and it's good work that you're doing in your life now. And
Yeah.
you've had you got a different trail than a lot of the people that we have on the restaurant people.
Sure.
Totally different.
Yeah.
They're more on the other. You're on the other side, but you work with them, and then you see. And like you say, when you're doing consultation, then you can. It's easier to look in somebody else's place and
Yeah.
be able to say, "Hey, look, you know, this is not working. This is." You know,
Yeah.
It's easier to look at somebody else's than your own. It's kind of hard to judge
It is.
yourself. You know, it's
It
just
is
tough.
like anything you do.
Yeah, it's
Life
anything. Yeah.
coaches
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah.
Our biggest party was 11,000 for Haley Barber.
Yeah.
Inaugurations. I've done 6 inaugurations over the years, and my last one was Haley Barber's, that had both the Coliseum and the Trade Center
Yeah.
and different parties in both of them. That was wild. I used restaurants from all over the state came and participated. It was a restaurant association. And just
Yeah.
pushed it.
Yeah.
But that's been my spot.
So what's your job title description? I mean, you worn a lot of different hats. So are you a caterer? Or are you
I'm a culinary consultant,
culinary consultant?
and I don't. There is in no way do I want to compete with someone that's running a catering business.
Yeah.
The way that I really got into the big stuff was I had people that they didn't know how to do big events safely, taste the food
Right.
safely, and to organize it and do it right. I guess my first big one was Mistletoe Marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was with Robert St. John. Did a couple of years with them,
Yeah.
and just helped organization-wise, and
You got to be organized with that many people. I mean, yeah, it's not like
Yeah.
feeding 100 or you got 10 people
Yeah.
walking in at a time. It's And it's all at once. And
Safely.
Yeah, safely. Yeah, right.
Safe.
Yeah.
That's the primary thing, is how you feed a lot of people and make sure it's safe.
Right.
I want to finish on this. If you're doing this at home and you want to do this for a party or a get together or whatever, you want to be safe with what you do. One way to do that is use gloves. You see I've got one on this hand. I should have had one on this hand. But I use gloves. You can get these at the big box store. Just come in a box of 100. That's an easy way to make sure that fingernails don't get messed up, or your hands, you may have some stuff going on. You want to keep everything at temperature. You don't want to let anything sit out more than 4 hours total, period. And that's cumulative, out of refrigeration or out of heat. So just make sure you do it safe. I know Kennard and Jennifer have instant read thermometers here, and those are worth their weight in gold. That you want to hit, you want to cool it down safely. 140 to 70 degrees is where bacteria has a party. It grows fast, fast, fast. But it's easy to get the temperature down to 70 degrees. But from 70 to 41, it takes a long time. That's the place people normally slow down. And what you need to do is stir something, turn it over if it's a piece of meat or something like that. Once it gets about 70, you can put it in the refrigerator. All you're doing, if you put something hot in your refrigerator, is you're just getting everything around it hot, right? You're not saving anything. So just let it sit out for a little while until you temp it and it's down around 190 degrees or something. You can put it in your refrigerator and not damage anything.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to stay safe. If you're cooking large amounts,
Yeah,
and that's what he does and has done, and we do too, you want to make sure that it's all safe and that you cool it down, use the ice bath if you need to. And
Yeah,
do the right
absolutely
thing. You
right.
can Google all that stuff too while you
Sure,
It'll
yeah,
tell you the
I
temperature.
would.
You don't have to remember the day. But
Yeah.
in that little zone, bacteria does grow and bad things can happen.
This does okay. This dish is okay to do it in advance
Yeah.
and then put it in a nice large ceramic dish and let it cool.
Can you reheat it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you can make it up. and
Works
put it
really
up.
nice. Or you can put mozzarella over the top of it and then bake it and do it as a pasta bake.
You could almost do it like a casserole.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll do it. I've done it that way.
Because it's
All kinds of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, what he's talking about there, you get that heat out, you can stir it.
Right. Exactly.
Take it off the eye too, because sometimes there's a pallet that keeps things hot, or the metal's still, the iron's still.
Well, most of them are electric spark now.
Yeah.
But yes, this hand is hurt a lot of times because I'll rest it on something.
Yeah.
Lighten it up because the pallets are.
I'm a sheet pan guy.
Oh yeah, Kung Fu grip, right?
Yeah.
In the kitchen, they used to do this thing where you had these big pots, and we had big pots like this, and pasta water. And the newbie, they'd say, "Hey, don't move that over to the other stove." And you're like, "Okay." And it's like 90 pounds.
Yeah.
And they
Of hot
throw you a
water.
couple of rags, put them on your arms, just pick it up with your arm. Well, then, if you're a jerk, then they'll throw you a damp one. You don't have.
Right.
You grab Kung Fu grip,
Yeah.
and steam goes right into your arm, and you'll come in, you'll have this big red mark on your arm and say, "Hi, Chang!" And you say, "Shut up."
You know the good thing
From Kung
about
Fu.
Yeah.
Show Kung Fu.
the thing about it is you won't do it but once.
Absolutely.
You don't
right.
ever use a wet rag.
No. I carry these with
Yeah.
me, and I bring a bunch of them because I don't want to burn my hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Even though they're kind of tough over all the years.
Oh yeah. Well, mine are starting to become a little tender. I don't know what's
You're
going on.
slipping, yeah.
I'm slipping for sure. I'll pay for it this week.
That's right. Well, hey, this was great. I enjoyed this, Michael. We'll have to come over to Hazelhurst area and check
yeah,
out the
look for
kitchen
you
and
to.
film it.
Yeah.
And
I'd
when you're
love
doing something, we'll just let me know.
I see
Come
that.
over there. And,
that new smoker we've got.
yeah. And it makes a difference, the smoker.
Oh yeah.
That many people. But,
Right.
so we wish you all the best, and we appreciate
Thank
all the things you do for all these people and kids. And now we can chat.
Thanks,
God bless and good luck to you. And
Thank you so
thank you
much.
guys for watching. We appreciate you.
guys.